At my wedding, my sister tripped into the cake. Guess that's karma for saying no, she said. My mom just shrugged. She's disappointed. She wanted you to pay the down payment. That night, I quietly undid everything I helped build for her. At 9:30 a.m., a notice hit her inbox. Funding rejected, moving blocked. The panic began immediately. But I knew my sister would do something at the wedding. I just didn't know it would be that. The cake had cost $3,500. Handcrafted sugar flowers, 3 tiers of champagne-infused sponge, and 6 weeks of calls with a stubborn French pastry chef who didn't even like weddings. It was a piece of art until Ashley stumbled into it in heels she couldn't walk in, and a smirk that gave her away before she even opened her mouth. She went down hard, dragging the entire table with her. The room went silent. Someone gasped. My fiancé's aunt dropped her champagne glass. I remember blinking slowly, trying to register whether this was actually happening or just a stress-induced hallucination. Ashley rolled over, sat up, and without even brushing the frosting off her dress, looked right at me. Guess that's karma for saying no. The phrase made no sense to anyone but me, and it hit me like a punch to the ribs. A few weeks earlier, she'd asked me to cover a down payment for a car she wanted. Not needed. Wanted. A cherry red convertible she'd test-driven once and could totally imagine herself in. She was 21, unemployed, living rent-free in the guest house of our parents' place, and she had the nerve to say I owed her. I told her no politely, then more firmly. Then I stopped replying to her texts. And now, on what was supposed to be the most joyful day of my life, she had literally thrown herself into the centerpiece of the reception. My mom just blinked and shrugged. She's disappointed. She wanted you to pay the down payment. That was it. Not even a question about whether the cake could be salvaged. Not a flicker of concern. Nothing. And I realized I wasn't just angry at Ashley. I was angry at all of them. The guests looked mortified. My husband's family started helping the servers clean up the mess. Ashley just sat there, licking frosting off her hand like a toddler. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I smiled through the rest of the night like everything was fine. But inside, I was doing math, reviewing documents, calculating what I controlled. Because Ashley had plans. She wanted to move to San Diego in 2 weeks. She'd been bragging about it to everyone, and I was the one who had helped co-sign the lease. I'd pushed through funding from a trust she didn't even know I'd partially managed. That night, while she slept off her wine and self-satisfaction, I undid everything I'd helped build for her. At 9:30 a.m. the next morning, a notification hit her inbox. Funding rejected. Moving blocked. The panic started immediately, and that was just the beginning. By 10 a.m., she called me 6 times. By 10:05, she was texting in all caps. At 10:17, a string of missed calls from our mom appeared. I watched them come in like alerts for a storm I already knew was heading straight for me. Ashley hadn't read the fine print. She thought the move was guaranteed. The lease, the deposit, the co-signer. Me. The furniture she'd ordered was sitting in a warehouse. She'd posted photos of empty cardboard boxes with captions like, San Diego, here I come. What she didn't realize was that all of it had been riding on my approval. She never asked how the trust got greenlit or why she didn't have to fill out any real paperwork. She just assumed the universe owed her a beachfront apartment because her favorite influencer had one. And now it was all crumbling. At noon, she pulled up to my apartment. She didn't knock at first. She just leaned on the buzzer. She buzzed every neighbor until someone let her in. I watched her pacing from the hallway camera as she came up, phone in hand, already yelling into the air like she had an audience. I didn't answer the door. I let her knock until her hand probably hurt. 15 minutes, then 20. Then she started with the texts. You can't do this to me. I already told everyone I was moving. I put down my deposit. You said you'd help me. I quit my job for this. I'll tell everyone what a bitch you are. That last one almost made me open the door just to laugh. She had quit a cafe job that barely kept her in gas money, a job she showed up late to half the time, high from whatever her new boyfriend gave her. I finally replied with one message. Actions have consequences. 5 seconds later, my phone rang again. She didn't sound panicked. She sounded tired, almost like she was checking off a task on her to-do list. Sandra, my mom said. She's outside your building. Maybe just talk to her. She's upset. She tripped into my wedding cake. She's young. She was emotional. She's 21, and she laughed while covered in frosting. She said you promised to help her move. I didn't. I said she needed to get a job and grow up. We didn't think you'd cut her off like that, my mom said. We were kind of counting on you to cover this. You know, we're still figuring things out financially. There was the real reason. They hadn't forgotten the $8,000 they still owed me. They'd just been hoping I would. I hung up without a word. Ashley was still down on the sidewalk when I stepped outside. She spotted me instantly and ran up like she expected me to cry and apologize. I kept walking. She followed. "You're seriously not going to help me? I have nothing now because of you. You ruined my wedding cake." That wasn't an accident. It was a joke. Everyone thought it was funny. No one thought it was funny. She shifted tactics. "They're just using you. They only side with you because you have money. I don't even like them. They're selfish and useless." And that's when it happened. I turned around and slapped her across the face. Not hard enough to bruise, just enough to snap something in the air between us. She froze. So did I. Liam had come downstairs when he saw me leave. He stepped in and gently pulled me back, and I let him. Ashley didn't follow. She just stood there holding her cheek, staring at the pavement. We didn't speak again for a long time. Ashley tried to fix it. Sort of. Half-hearted texts, vague social media posts about toxic family members, passive-aggressive memes. Never once a real apology, because Ashley doesn't do those. She once told me she doesn't like being the first to say sorry. The sad thing was, she thought this was temporary. She didn't know it yet, but that moment on the sidewalk was the last time I'd ever help her. 3 days after the slap, my dad emailed me. Not called. Emailed. Subject line, "Can we talk?" It was short. He said he didn't want to pick sides, but maybe things had gone too far. He asked if I could reconsider the funding. Just enough so Ashley wouldn't lose her momentum. That phrase, like she was building a tech startup instead of freeloading through her 20s. I didn't reply. I archived it. That night, Liam and I sat on the balcony of our new place, a condo we bought ourselves, and watched the sun fall behind the skyline. I hadn't even opened the gift Ashley gave us. It was still in a glittery bag, with the tag scribbled in purple marker. "To the happy couple. Hope you survive each other." At least she spelled it right. On the 5th day, Ashley posted a story of her in tears, captioned, "People don't change. They just leave you behind when they're done using you." The comments filled up fast. Her friends, most of them girls I'd seen once at some bar years ago, chimed in with hearts and "you deserve better" and cut the toxic ones off. She was trying to frame it like I had used her. She even changed her Instagram bio to say survivor, fighter, rising. I had to laugh. What was she surviving? Losing a beachfront apartment she never paid for? I stayed quiet. That hurt her more than anything. My silence didn't just freeze her out. It made her realize what she actually lost. She hadn't just lost a move to San Diego. She lost the safety net she'd never even bothered to notice until it vanished. The phone calls stopped by day 7. The guilt trips turned into silence. Then came the final trick, dragging my parents into it. They showed up at my place together. No warning. My building has a front desk. The doorman called up, hesitant, probably expecting me to say no. I let them up. They looked tired, older. Mom had a manila folder in her hands. Dad had nothing, just his usual half-apologetic smile. "We just want to understand," Mom said. "This doesn't feel like you." "No," I said. "This is me. The me you keep asking for favors from, but never respect." "Grace," Dad said. "She's hurting. She said you hit her." "I did." They went quiet. "She insulted you, both of you," I said. "She called you useless and selfish and said she didn't even like you." Mom blinked. "She said that on their street," I said, loud enough for people to stare. They both looked away at that point. "She's not well," Mom finally said. "She's just spiraling. You know how she is. Can't you just give her one more chance?" I was done giving. I stood there in silence until they got the message and left without opening the folder. I never asked what was inside. That weekend, Ashley texted me a single sentence. "You're lucky you have Liam." That was all. Not a hello, not an apology, just that. A statement layered with bitterness and envy. She wasn't wrong. I was lucky to have him. And I wasn't about to let her poison that too. Because for once, I was putting someone else first. Me. 2 weeks went by with silence. No calls, no texts, no random emails from our dad asking for a small favor. It was almost peaceful. Then one morning, Liam handed me his phone. "You need to see this." Ashley had posted a story. A shaky video, clearly taken while she was crying. She was standing outside some apartment complex, yelling at a property manager who wouldn't let her inside. The caption said, "My sister ruined my life. If I end up on the street, you know who to blame." I waited for the part where she cut the video before it got embarrassing. She didn't. The camera kept rolling. The property manager calmly explained, over and over, that there was no record of her name on any approved lease. No deposit, no signed documents. He even pulled out a clipboard and pointed at it. Ashley kept insisting that she had proof. She pulled up a half-completed email thread, the one I had shut down the day after the wedding, and showed him a draft as if it were a contract. It ended with her sitting on the curb, sobbing into her phone. I figured she'd get some sympathy. Instead, the comments turned fast. Wait, your sister was paying for this? Why didn't you get a job, though? I thought you said your aunt was funding you. This is awkward. She deleted it within an hour, but the damage was done. Her followers, the ones who lived for her boss babe posts and Manifest Monday reels, started seeing cracks in the facade. She stopped posting for a while after that. And then came the email. Not from her, from her boyfriend. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about him during all this. He was barely around, and I never took him seriously. But this email was something else. He wrote, I don't know what Ashley told you, but she lied to both of us. I thought she had your support. I thought we were moving together. She made promises she couldn't keep. Said the place was secured, that you were gifting it. I left my job for this. I trusted her. He attached screenshots. Ashley telling him I had covered everything. That Sandra wants to see us happy. That the lease was just a formality. He ended it with, sorry about the wedding. Didn't know she was going to pull that cake stunt. Honestly, that was the last straw for me. I stared at that last sentence for a long time. Ashley hadn't just lost the apartment. She'd lost the guy she thought would shield her once I was gone. I replied with one line. Good luck, you'll need it. A few days later, she showed up at our parents' place, this time with luggage. I wasn't there, but Mom called me after. She's staying here for a while. Did she apologize? I asked. She said she's going through a lot. Did she mention the money? No, Mom said. Of course she didn't. That night, I got a Venmo request from Ashley. $350. Description. For the cake, since you're still mad about it. It was the most surreal thing I'd seen all year. I denied the request. Then I blocked her everywhere. And just when I thought I'd finally put her behind me, something arrived in the mail. No name on the return address. Inside was a plain white card. On it, in messy handwriting. You'll regret this when it's just you and your money. No signature, just a lipstick smudge. I didn't regret a thing. But for the first time, I realized something I hadn't expected. Ashley didn't want help anymore. She wanted revenge. I kept the card. Not because I needed it, but because I didn't want to forget what she was capable of. After that, I took precautions. Changed the security codes at my condo. Alerted the building manager not to let her up, no matter what story she told. Liam suggested installing cameras on the balcony just in case. I said yes. I wasn't paranoid, I was realistic. I'd spent years assuming Ashley was self-centered but harmless. That was over. 2 weeks after the card, Liam got a call from his job's HR department. Someone had emailed them an anonymous tip claiming he'd lied on his background check. It didn't stick. The tip was vague. The details were wrong. And Liam's record was spotless. But the timing wasn't a coincidence. He didn't tell me right away. When he finally did, he looked unsure, like he didn't want to accuse anyone. I knew instantly who it was. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I opened my laptop and typed out a message. Not to her, to my lawyer. I'd kept receipts, every transfer, every document with my name on it that had gone to support Ashley's nonsense. From covering credit card debt to that one time I paid off a parking boot so she wouldn't miss a photo shoot. I asked my lawyer what would happen if I formally demanded repayment. He laughed. You'll never see a cent, he said, but you'd make a point. That was enough for me. We sent her a certified letter, no threats, just a formal request for repayment. Total amount owed, $28,147.72. 3 days later, I got a voicemail from my mom. Sandra, what are you doing? You're making things worse. She's falling apart. I didn't respond. Ashley showed up at my work. Security intercepted her at the front desk. She cried, told them I was her sister and that I was ruining her life. They called me. I told them to call the police if she didn't leave. She left, but not before shattering the mug I'd given her years ago, the one she used to keep in her car. She threw it against the pavement outside the building. It didn't even make a sound until people started clapping inside. That night, she tried one last trick. She sent Liam a message on Facebook from a backup account. I feel sorry for you. You married someone cold. He showed it to me. I told him to block her. He already had. 2 days later, I saw a post on her story. Not directed at me, but I knew who it was for. I tried to make things right. I tried to be family. Some people don't forgive. They just punish. She was right about one thing. I didn't forgive, because she never apologized. And I wasn't punishing her. I was done saving her from herself. That week, I booked a trip. Just me and Liam. 10 days. No phones, no updates, no drama, no Ashley. She didn't know it yet, but this wasn't just the end of our fight. It was the end of us. We landed in Maui on a Monday. Liam left his phone in the hotel safe. I turned mine off completely. The sound of the ocean replaced the endless notifications. For the first time in months, maybe years, I exhaled without wondering who I'd need to clean up after next. We didn't make plans. We didn't schedule activities. We woke up when we felt like it, wandered until we found something worth doing, spent hours lying in the sun, letting it melt the past off our skin. I didn't talk about Ashley. Not once. Not even when I saw a woman at the beach wearing the exact dress Ashley had ruined at the wedding. The one I had to toss because she got frosting on the zipper. I just smiled. Let it go. On day 5, we found a tiny coffee shop in Lahaina, run by a retired couple from Oregon. They had a corkboard wall where travelers could pin notes. Little messages, goodbyes, advice. I wrote one. It said, "You're allowed to stop saving people who don't want to be saved, even if they share your blood." I didn't sign it. That night, we watched the sunset from a rocky cliff Liam found off a hiking trail. Just us, a bottle of cheap champagne, and silence. That was when I realized what peace actually felt like. Not relief, not the absence of chaos, but something better. A quiet confidence that no one could pull me back into the storm again. Not Ashley, not our parents, not guilt. When we got back home, the messages were waiting. Voicemails, emails, even a physical letter with shaky handwriting. Ashley had finally tried to apologize, only it wasn't an apology. It was a list of all the things she'd been through lately. The breakup, the move that fell apart, the lost friendships, the embarrassment. Not once did she say she was wrong. Not once did she acknowledge the cake or the slap or Liam. The closest she came was, "I guess I'm not perfect, but neither are you." I didn't reply. She still didn't get it. Apologies aren't transactions. You don't get to dump all your pain and expect credit in return. Liam and I spent the next few weeks settling into the life we were building. One with boundaries, real love, and no hidden debts. My parents eventually stopped calling. They knew where I stood. I think they were waiting for time to do the work for them. Ashley moved in with some new friend. I saw a tagged photo a month later. Her at a party, red plastic cup in hand, laughing like none of it happened. That was fine. Let her laugh. I'd done my part. And then I'd walked away. Some people don't get second chances. Some people burn through all of them. And when they do, the best thing you can do for them, for yourself, is to stop holding the water they keep drowning in. Hawaii wasn't just a vacation. It was a reset. And the life I'm living now, it doesn't have space for people who confuse love with leverage.